and welcome to Ask Me About K-Pop, the essential guide for recent converts and seasoned fans alike. My name is Shannon.
And I'm Angelica.
And we're the hosts of this program, and welcome to 2019.
Hello, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We made it. We made it to another year.
Yeah, somehow we did.
But we've been gone for a minute, I guess, because we recorded our end of the year episode so we could enjoy our end of the year.
Take our own little holiday break.
But some fun things happened. We got shiny tattoos.
Yes, we did.
We did.
Aren't fully healed yet, so no reveal quite yet.
We'll show you the pictures when they're prettier. But yeah, that's what we did on the 18th. We took the day off and we got shiny tattoos.
We played hooky from work.
It was great. Yeah, don't tell on me. But that was really fun. But I think up top we have to address some breaking news because y'all have asked us to address this breaking news.
Yep.
So on January 1st, the tabloid Dispatch that we've talked about many a time. On January 1st, they like to do a dating reveal every year on the 1st. It's their favorite thing. It's not often idol based. It's usually like actors or like somebody else exciting. But this year, they revealed that Kai from EXO and Jennie from Blackpink have been dating for a couple of months.
Yeah, I think the article said that they were first seen together around October. So it hasn't been that long that they've been together.
Yeah. And I don't know. I don't know what y'all want me to say about this.
I honestly don't really have that many opinions about it. My first reaction was meh.
Yeah, my first thought was, huh.
Yeah,
okay.
I was surprised because I was like, oh, I didn't even think they knew each other, I guess. But also I remember that a while ago, Rosé and Chanyeol had dating rumors as well. And so maybe Blackpink and EXO maybe they were dating as well. Who knows?
Who knows?
I'm just not that big of a Blackpink fan. And I'm also really not that big. I thought it was it's just interesting timing in my opinion because Jennie just released this solo and then on sort of around the same time that she came out with her solo, which is called Solo, there were all of these fan-made videos coming out of how she's been basically slacking off in Blackpink and how she's breaking and maybe she might be leaving the group, and there was controversy about how YG was showing her favoritism, and there were all these compilations of her half-assing dances,
which YG had pulled and scrubbed from the internet,
which is suspicious sign. And also I don't know, I don't know anything about Blackpink, and I really don't know. I'm not a Blink or whatever, but I kind of bought it, this half-assedness that she brought to the table, because she does have that, when I watched her solo music video, I liked the song and I kind of liked the dance, but I was also just not bowled over by it. She doesn't impress me a lot. And I think part of that is that she does have a very expressionless face. Yeah. And I don't know, she just kind of looks mean and bored. And I thought if this solo track is her trying to break off from Blackpink, or if she really, because the lyrics of it are her being tired of acting cute and having to do these things. It seems like the lyrics of the song are her being tired of being in a girl group, which to me seems rude and disrespectful to the other members of the group who are trying really hard. And the fact that the chorus, which in Korean says, "I'm shining solo," sounds like, bitch, I'm going solo. I don't know. Just part of me was I don't know about that. I'm unconvinced that this is an innocent solo debut or whatever. I just had an eyebrow raised and was kind of keeping the corner of my eye on it. Wouldn't be surprised if the next news that broke about her was that she was leaving Blackpink. I just wasn't going to be surprised if that's what happened. And so the fact that the news that broke was that she and Kai are dating, I was kind of meh, you can do better, Kai. To clarify, I was kind of well, she's so blah and he's so amazing that I was okay, fine. But then I remembered that he's 24 and she's 22 and this is not a meaningful relationship for either of them. So I don't really fucking care.
Yeah. I feel that's you know, as always, it is the backbone of this program, and I believe it harder than I ever have. Hashtag let idols bang. Like, I'm not mad about it,
not
but
at
I
all.
also just like, I don't, not to say like, I don't care, but I also kind of don't care because, yeah, I don't know anything about her to be like, to have an opinion either way about them as a couple, because I truly don't know anything about her other than, I find she seems bored all the time, and that's what I know about her. But just the fact that, like, they've possibly only been dating for, like, a couple of months, like,
True.
That in itself almost makes me uncomfortable. Like, I don't want to know about this. Like, these are, like, I feel like a relationship that's that short. Like, I feel like idols are often having relationships that are lasting a couple of months here and there, but we just don't know about them. And so, like, the idea of someone getting caught so early into a relationship, like, to me doesn't spell, like, it probably won't have a great outcome because, like, truly, honestly, if they've been dating since October, a time where she had a solo debut and EXO had 2 consecutive comebacks, they've probably seen each other in person 6 times. Like,
or like they've probably only seen each other those 3 times that they were photographed.
Yeah.
And so like it's possible that they're just sort of talking and like getting to know each other. Like it's entirely possible that this is like a baby nothing relationship.
And now this might stall it completely because they won't ever be able to see each other again. Because,
that's probably true.
You know, like now people will be looking. So like any chance of sneaking around they had, like that's kind of lost.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, like to SM's credit, like Kai has been in public relationships before. And so when this broke, SM was immediately just like, yes, that's true, they're dating. And then YG was like, no comment. So I feel like the trickiest part about it is what YG will choose to do with it, because SM is not going to care. Like nothing's going to happen to Kai.
No.
Kai's fans will love him regardless.
Yeah, because he was already like sullied or whatever before.
Quote unquote. Like he's
not a pure boy or whatever. He's already had girlfriends.
Dated
they
before,
know that.
so like they're not as disappointed with him or whatever. Like you made the point that like if it was another member of EXO,
I think that if this had been Chanyeol, if this had been Suho, if it had been a member who had not
if it had been no,
I think people might have been a little crankier about it.
I honestly think even if it had been Baekhyun, people probably would have been a little bit crankier, if only just because I feel like the fans of Baekhyun are crankier than the fans of Kai.
I think that's probably
I don't know,
fair.
like Kai's like persona, I just feel like, I don't know. Baekhyun is like really flirty and like over the top with his fans. So I feel like if he had been revealed to have a girlfriend, his fans would have taken it more personally. They would have
gotten back on their betrayal train with him.
Whereas Kai's fans are kind of like, man, whatever, like let him be with whoever he wants.
And the cool or the thing about Blackpink. And again, we only ever get like international views of this and English translated comments and like whatever. So we don't actually know how anybody really feels. But it seems like the international blinks, like, again, don't care because Blackpink has a girl crush concept where a lot of their fans are girls who are supposed to just want to be like Blackpink. So it doesn't like hurt the image if they have boyfriends because that's the point.
They're not trying to like, their fans are not like boys who have crushes on them. They're girls who think they're cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they definitely...
And what's cooler than dating an EXO?
Right. But they definitely do have fanboys, like a lot of them.
Yeah.
And like I knew would happen. I thought it was really funny because this news broke like at like 2 a.m. Korea time, like on the, like it was very, very early on the 1st when this broke. So everybody on the other side of the world was like still awake. And there were all these people on Twitter and Reddit and stuff being like, wow, all the fans are being really supportive. I think this is like a true sign of times changing. And I was like, y'all, it's been 2 hours. Like, People haven't had time to gather their evidence, which
People
they had
are
by
still
the
drunk
morning.
from New Year's. They haven't processed it yet.
And so, like they always do, by the next morning, all of there were all of those blog posts from Jennie fans being like, here are all the ways she has wronged us. Because that's what happens in dating scandals is then people decide that every time they've ever been slightly irked by their idol's attitude, like then they need to document them all as proof of she doesn't care about us anymore.
Yeah, as if like by being in a relationship, the idol can no longer, like it is not possible for the idol to invest as much in their group if they're in a relationship, which is like ridiculous. Because then that logic is saying that you must dedicate 100% of your heart, soul, and mind to this group 24/7, and that having a personal relationship of any kind is going to distract you from being a part of this group. And that's like, let idols bang. This is ridiculous.
Hashtag let idols bang. But I don't know if I have anything more to say about this because, again, it felt really random to me. So there's also, unlike other fun ships that have broken, there's no like hordes of videos of Kai and Jennie interacting. There's none of that.
Yeah, because they're not they're not in the same company, and
they've
like
never done anything together.
Yeah.
So there's none of that to like squee over. So that's no fun. And like they both like, I feel like they should all, I don't know, not conspiracy theory. Like some people think that like this got out to distract from everybody being mad at Jennie for being lazy.
Maybe.
Because I feel like if they wanted to hurt them, like again, like sorry to bring it back to this because I know they're different and everybody's fighting about them now this week. But like with the Hyuna, E'Dawn, QB things, all of those rumors came out that day in a way that seemed malicious. Like someone was trying to hurt someone or get because it was like everyone was in the middle of promoting and they dropped 5 scandals in a day. But it was like if someone wanted to hurt Kai and Jennie, they could have dropped this stuff a couple weeks ago when they were still on shows together. Like, because they both were done with promotions. Like the last Gayo of the year like was over. So there was no more chance for them to like have public appearances canceled or to have fans yell. Like it like landed at a very nice time where no one had to get harassed.
It was a very convenient time in both of their careers for this news to come out. And I think, I don't know, part of me was just sort of like, well, that probably won't last.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see this and think like, wow, this is...
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope they're having fun and I bet they like each other a lot and it's real cool. But
I hope that they have fun and that their relationship goes well for as long as it does. I hope they don't get harassed. And that's all I have to say about it.
Okay.
I'm apathetic.
Yeah. I
supportive, but apathetic.
Yeah. I don't want either of them to have any like pain or any career problems because of this. I think it's very meh and whatever.
Also, I was thinking like, because you told me that she has a dog named Kai and a bear named Nini, which who knows when she got that bear, like maybe he gave it to her or whatever. And that's why
her fans say that people call her Nini too, because she's Jennie.
Oh, okay. Interesting. But I was also thinking like, and she's young and like she's probably an EXO fangirl.
Yeah.
And so that like how cool for her to now be like dating him.
No, yeah.
Like,
it's fun. I hope they're having fun.
Yeah.
But do I think there will be wedding announcements in 5? No, I don't. I assume that we will not see them. We won't hear anything about this. And 8 months from now, it'll get buried in a news story. They broke up. They don't have time to see each other.
Yeah.
That's kind of my prediction.
I fully expect that we will not see or hear from them as a couple at all. Like, I don't know.
I still don't think anybody's ready for that. Like, I really don't. Because I'm sorry that like Hyuna gave everybody weird expectations. She's not like other people because like when the news broke, there were like a couple I saw like there were people who were like Kai Jennie shippers before this because there's always someone. And so those people were like freaking out and were being like, oh my God, they're going to do a magazine shoot together. Like they're going to host this together. And I'm like, no, guys, you're not going to see them. you're not going to see them.
Because on the one hand, like Hyuna and E'Dawn, you're like, oh yeah, like I can't wait to see Kai and Jennie be like a public couple, but that's never going to happen because Hyuna and E'Dawn are not with a company anymore. Like the reason that they do that is because they don't have anybody to tell them no.
Yeah.
Like SM and YG would never allow that to happen.
No way.
Like the only reason that we got Crystal shit is because Kai and Crystal were from the same company.
Yeah.
So it made sense for them to like do photo shoots together. And it wasn't just the two of them, like Third Wheel Taemin was there too.
Exactly.
So like we're not gonna get a Kennie Instagram or whatever.
No, probably not.
Sorry.
Yeah. But anyway, good luck to you kids. And that was, I guess that was a fun way to start out the year.
Be safe. Don't laboom it.
Yeah. Good tip. Good tip.
Which one is isn't it? Oh no, it's JYP who does sex ed. They're screwed.
I know. No, they're in trouble.
Wait, I'm just gonna, let's not put that out into the universe and jinx some poor child.
Okay, so today's topic, it feels slightly late, but at the same time, it's like, when else are we going to talk about this? So there are, at the end of the year, every year, the last week of the year specifically, the major cable stations do these things called Gayos.
Yeah.
They all have a different name that essentially means song festival in some cutesy Korean way. And they're like a big part of the end of the year.
Yeah, they're basically end of the year like recap shows where they come after all of the award shows, and they are not award shows. Like they don't give out prizes. They're not competitive. It's just like an appreciation of like, here are the hit songs of this year. And so it's almost like as if like TRL did some sort of like New Year's Eve music video countdown or whatever. And like the top 10 songs of the year, like maybe those artists came and performed or something, or like whatever the fuck they do in Times Square with like people coming and performing and stuff. It's basically like that. It's like a year in review. But there are 3 major shows that happen the last week of the year.
Yes. And I'm going to go through them in order of who's been on the longest.
Okay.
So KBS's, which is called Gayo de Chuki.
Okay.
Theirs has been on since 1965.
Wow.
It's been their New Year's show. So, like, it's been a thing forever, but it was an award show until 2006.
Oh.
So these used to be the end of the year award shows. But then, I guess, in the early 2000s, it was like, there are too many award shows. And then, and there were also, same like we talked about on the award show episode, companies were boycotting these things because they're unfair and whatever. So they all, we'll talk about it, but they all basically around the early 2000s stopped making these end of the year shows, award shows.
And just made them like fun performances.
Song festivals is the only point. And sometimes there's like weird themes, or KBS's doesn't look like they do themes. I mean, there's not much to say except like these are a thing. So KBS's has been on since 1965. And this year it was on the 28th of December.
Okay.
And the theme this year was huge, fantastical party. So I don't know.
That's not even a theme.
And then the next one in the list is MBC's, and theirs is called Gayo Daejaejeon. And it's been on since 1966. They stopped doing awards in 2004. So they were the first one to turn theirs into not an award show anymore. And this one is on New Year's. Like they get to do...
they get the actual countdown.
The countdown. And then the other one is like, I think the bigger, like the most spectacle-y of all of them. And that's SBS's, and theirs is just called Gayo Daejeon.
Yeah. And theirs, I totally agree that theirs is a larger spectacle, partly just because the arena, like the venue itself is so much larger. outdoor, isn't it? Like
it seems like a stadium. Like when you watch, or if it's not an outdoor, it's an indoor arena because it's like arena.
The stadium seating is huge. It's absolutely enormous, and the stage itself is very big, and I feel like it has a larger production value. Like it has pieces that move on the stage, and like it's more of a set and a production, whereas like the NBC one is just, it's like, it looks like a music show basically. It's like a music bank.
Yeah. And I wonder if it is like, if it's tradition based or whatever, because like we said, the other two like started in the 60s and were just like a thing that were on every New Year's. Yeah. And SBS didn't start doing theirs till 97, which is like first gen K-pop is in full swing. So I think they just like have always had a more modern, spectacular era, like aura to them or whatever.
That makes sense.
But they stopped giving out awards in 2006. So, all of these things used to be award shows and now they're not. But SBS does from 2007 to 2013, they had like very distinct themes to their years. And one that lots of people remember was in 2012, they did something called Color of K-pop, where, here it says this one aired live at Korea University. So it's like a university stadium. That's probably why it's so big.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
So this Color of K-pop thing was they made 4 quote unquote super idol groups.
Basically, they played our fantasy group game.
Pretty much.
And they made 2 boy groups and 2 girl groups, but only out of like specific companies. Because the 2 different boy groups, they had members of the same.
Yeah, the girl groups are the same. So it wasn't so diverse, but it was like they were trying to do something really interesting. So there was like Mystic White, which was the girl group, and they were like mermaid princesses.
And that was the name of the song, was Mermaid Princess. Do you want to list who was in it?
Sure. Jaeyoung from Kara, Bora from Sistar, Sunhwa from Secret, Gayoon from 4 Minute, and Lizzie from After School. Mm-hmm. And then the boy group, Dramatic Blue, they sang a song called Tearfully Beautiful. And this was Yeosub from Beast, Jo Kwon from 2AM, Woohyun from Infinite, Go or Geo from M Black. Sorry, I don't know how to say that. And Neil from Teen Top.
Neil?
Yeah. Or is it Niall? I don't know. It's spelled interesting.
How's it spelled?
Niel.
That's not how you spell Neil. Niall.
Neil. I don't know. And then the other boy group was Dynamic Black. Mm-hmm. And this was Gi-kwang from Beast, Jin-woon from 2AM, Hoya from Infinite, Lee Jun from M Black, and Eljo from Teen Top. So again, it's just Beast, 2AM, Infinite, M Black, and Teen Top. Like that's those are the only groups we were pulling from. And they did a song called Yesterday that was written by Shin Se-dong Tiger, who wrote like all of Momoland's like biggest hits.
Yeah.
So. And then the only good part of this whole, if you ask me, whole Colors of K-pop.
100%. The only song that I would recommend
is the girl group, the other girl group, which was called Dazzling Red. And you won't believe this lineup. Nicole from Kara, Hyolyn from Sistar, Hyosung from Secret, Hyuna from 4 Minute, and Nana from After School.
I know. That truly is a super group.
Yes.
That really is. Like this one, good job, SBS. This was the success.
That one was the success.
Oh, but let's also explain just for a moment, like these quote unquote super groups, like they were created. So basically what happened is like during this 2012 SBS Gayo show, like these four groups came out and they performed an original song. But that's it. That's all they did. Yeah. They were not a group that promoted or produced multiple things throughout the year. They didn't have actual comebacks. They didn't release like music videos or whatever. It was like each group had a short VCR and then one performance at this music show, and that was it. Like they were one and done. So it's not like it's not like a 101 style of like they're gonna have a limited contract or something. But the Dazzling Red performance is actually worth watching. It's a good song and like filled with superstars.
Yeah, and I wonder if it's like that's the reason, if that's part of the reason that one survives so well, is because like the majority of the people in it have survived past it, like all of this time.
That's true. They definitely have. And also, like, I mean, I don't know. It's always worth watching Nana do anything because she's so stupidly beautiful that you just, like, it's always worth watching her.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
End of sentence.
But Gayos are fun. I do agree. I wish I could remember where I saw it. I feel like it was in an article at some point, or maybe it was just a tweet this weekend that was saying that, like, sure, it's okay, I guess, to see your group perform that single for the 50th time at the end of the year, and maybe they did a remixed dance break in the middle. But the only reason Gayos are any good is because of special stages. Like,
totally.
That's what they're for, is like weird crap like that, like all the girl groups doing a weird medley, or like here this year there were some, like, I think the thing that tends to happen these days, or happen most often because it's easy, is like, here are 8 boys from some new hotness groups and they're gonna do an old HOT song, and like people just like redoing covers of like classic. There was a really good one this year of like some Monsta X's and some 17s and some...
Oh, are you talking about the Again Again
Yes,
one?
they did a 2 p.m.
You sent it to me. Hold on, let me pull it up. I was just thinking about that too. Okay, it's Monsta X 17 and 101.
Okay.
They did Again Again at the SBS Gayo.
Yeah, and that's like a 2 p.m. song. So like that kind of stuff is really fun. But then other times it's weird, like especially when they give whole companies like a moment. Like I think it was at KBS's this year, they gave JYP and SM each like 15 minutes or something. And JYP used their 15 minutes to put like all of their kids, like the Day 6 kids and the GOT7s and the Twices or whatever, and have them like cover classic JYP songs and do cool arrangements and like be all mixed together. And they like made a cool comprehensive family stage. SM had NCT sing 3 times, and Red Velvet did like half of Bad Boy in the middle, and I think maybe someone sang a TVXQ song for half a set. Like I feel like they wasted their 12. But it's like that's what happens with these shows where it seems like they're just like, you have 15 minutes, like we don't care.
We don't care what you do, but here's some time, fill it.
Yeah, and so people fill it very differently. Like there was one I watched like the other night from 2010 or something. It was an SBS, and it was called like Girls Time, and they had like Sistar and 4 Minute and After School and Secret and like all the girl groups of the time. But it was like 4 Minute came out and did a dance to an English song. They weren't singing it. They were just doing a weird dance. Then FX came out without Amber and just did their new single. But then After School came out with a whole marching band and like did drum solos. And then like Secret did a Pussycat Dolls song, and it like wasn't that great. And then at the end, all the girls came out on the stage and they played like a medley of all of their songs, but like not everyone knew the choreography. And I don't know, there's just like a sloppy, like it's the end of the year, like people just have this on in the background, like kind of attitude to these shows. That's kind of fun.
Definitely. There's also that element of like, well, these groups have been performing and like preparing for their own individual comebacks all throughout the year, and then right before the end of the year shows are all of the award shows, which you have to prepare separate performances for. And then when you get to these collab shows or collab stages for these end of the year award shows, it's like these people have practiced this 3 times in the last 2 days. And that is the only preparation that they've had. So there's definitely like an air of, oh, is this going to go okay?
Yeah.
Like, how is this going to go this time?
Several things I watched this week, there was like panic in people's eyes of like, I don't think I practiced this remix choreo enough times.
Yeah.
Like, I feel awkward about it. But anyway, they're mostly fun. I feel like I also almost never get to watch Gayos because it is at that very weird last 4 days of the year.
Yeah.
Where I'm already getting behind on things and like, I feel like I never have time to watch them.
Totally. I feel like I usually end up just looking for specific group stages. I definitely have never sat down and watched an entire show before this year.
We did this year. And I think that's a good segue. So let's just get into it. So like to give us something to hold on to, we did watch NBC's Gayo this year mostly because it was hosted by Mino. That's why I bothered to watch the whole thing.
True. There was also a fairly easy to find English subbed version. And they are the show that has the actual New Year's Eve countdown in it. So like they are the for real end of the year show. So we chose to watch NBC's. Full disclosure, my computer is very old and slow. And so it was absolutely painful to try and watch the English subbed version on that back
those shady websites,
back alley internet site that like has this whatever English subbed version. It just took so long to load. So like halfway through, and this show's long. It's like 3.5 hours long and it's 2 parts. It's super long and it was taking forever to load. And I was like, I don't have 4 days to watch this. So eventually I gave up and I just watched the non-subbed version on YouTube. So like about 45 minutes into this show, I no longer had the narration to go along with it. But on the other hand, like you don't really need it. Like the MCs are just there to like fill up some time while people get into position. Like they don't really have interviews and like shit like that.
And it's mostly awkward. But I watched the whole thing this year because, like I said, Mino was an MC, so there was like reason to. Otherwise, I would also just type it into YouTube and watch performances. But I wanted to see the whole
I watched the show. I watched them talk.
Okay,
I just didn't have the subtitles.
So to get started this year, NBC Gayo Daejaejeon 2018, the MCs were Mino from SHINee, Yoona from Girls' Generation. It was her 4th time hosting this particular Gayo. But if you look at the Wikipedias for the other 2, this girl hosts these things all the time.
I feel like she is a go-to MC.
Yes.
Her
and Lee Tuck from Super Junior.
Things.
They're just like, they can host stuff. And then this comedian named Hongchol, who you would recognize from a Psy music video and a Sistar music video. He's a lot. Funny guy who's around. And then Eunwoo from Astro, who also hosted with Yoona last year. So it was like their second time hosting together.
He's very pretty.
He is very pretty. So they opened the show with this weird tracking shot of like Yoona getting her makeup on and Mino's like, come on, it's time to go. Yeah. And then they had to banter in the hallway like,
as they're ready? Like, are you nervous? I'm so nervous. I'm not nervous at all.
And then they came out and Yoona and Eunwoo sang Balloons by TVXQ.
Oh my God. I couldn't believe that they started with fucking balloons. Guys, if you haven't heard this song, I highly, highly recommend that you watch the music video of TVXQ for Balloons because it's one of their very first songs. It has all 5 members in it. The music video is literally the cheesiest fucking thing I've ever seen. It has them wearing like animal hats and costumes, and it is just not a good song. It's like the cheesiest of cheesy K-pop. And it sounds like a 1990s anime theme song.
Yes, it absolutely does. Absolutely. So then after they finished that little bit, then Mino and Hongchol jump out of the stage and they did Champion by Psy, which is, if you've never heard it, it's a terrible Psy song that is set to the Beverly Hills Cop theme. That's what it is. That's why you recognize it, because it's the Beverly Hills Cop song that goes.
Wow.
Do, 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 do,
yes.
Do, 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 boo, 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 boo. Yeah.
That one. Okay.
And it was
that made
very
a lot of
cheesy.
Things click into place for me.
It was very cheesy and it was very bad. But I wrote down, this was our first look at the little artist nook at this year's NBC Gayo. Okay, so they were recording in, I'm pretty sure, the same room they do Music Bank.
Or like M Countdown.
Whatever
NBC's shows. Yeah. We need to talk about the setup of this.
yes.
When it first started, I was like, okay, like we're in a little theater, like whatever. I kind of had an idea that it was going to be sort of like the Emmys or the Golden Globes or whatever, right? Like just like in a theater. And then during literally the second performance, which we'll get to in a second, like I realized that those are actually taking place on two different stages.
Yeah, there are pre-tapes mixed with what was actually happening in the live.
Yeah, or it's also possible that like live performances were happening in both rooms, but
true.
They were just like
on
the
other
camera
side
was
of
going
the
back
lot.
and
Yeah.
exactly. So basically, it's like a closed set, very small audience in both stages.
Yeah.
One stage was slightly bigger than the other one. And then one stage, the slightly bigger stage, had this little like side area on the wing where like one side of the stage, like the audience is just in front. And then one side of the stage is like an extra stage. And then the other side of the stage is like a little pit, like sunken in like Hunger Games style pit.
Like a little weird orchestra pit off to the side that had like
3 members of like
couches.
5 different groups. Yeah, it was like, it wasn't real audience seating. It was like 6 couches that you could only fit 2 to 4 members of a group.
So it's like 2 17s, 2 BTSs, like
3
A-Pinks
red
and
velvets,
like
like
one
Sekai over there. Like, yeah, it was so bizarre.
Yes, it was so bizarre.
It seemed totally random as to
who got
to be there. And because of the way, there was a lot of empty space.
Yes.
It made it seem very empty and as though they like couldn't fill the seats. It was really a weird choice.
Yeah. I just have to note like one note that I took because it shook me when Mino was doing his champion. They cut to this pool of people, and Mino from Winner looks exactly like She-Dragon these days, like sunglasses inside, full bleached hair. And I was like, oh, are we just taking G-Dragon's place while he's in the military? Because that's what it looked like to me, because he was dancing, sunglasses. I was like, he's fully taking G-Dragon's spot now.
He had that crazy printed green blazer on. I 100% agree. I can't claim to know his face, but the last time I saw him, he definitely didn't look like that. I don't think. But yeah, I was surprised.
So it shook me a little bit when they showed him, because at first I was like, oh, G-Dragon. And then I was like, no, he's not there. He can't be there. He's in the military.
We miss you, G-Dragon.
Come back soon. Okay, so then after they finish that song, this is just
no one can replace you.
It's true. It's true. A moment I had to write down after they finished that song, they like blasted a bunch of confetti everywhere. So then Yuna had confetti in her hair and Mino like reached and took it. And then everybody was like, he's so great. And I was like, yeah, duh.
Yeah, duh. And it's funny. I'm glad that you brought that up actually, because I remember watching it, and this was like when I was still watching the subbed version. And I remember thinking, because she talks for quite a while before he takes the confetti off. And like, what's the Astro's name?
Onu.
He like talks to her, and like Yuna keeps talking, and I was like, is nobody gonna tell her that she has confetti on her face? Like, it went on for a while, and then finally she turned and said something to Mino, and he immediately just took it off. I was like, thank you.
I was worried about that confetti because when they first showed how much of it was in his wig, I was like, oh no, if he picks it out, what if his wig gets messed up?
There is literally a part in my, like, during part 2 where I wrote, Mino's suit is so shiny and his wig is so bad.
To explain to people who are like not deep into this Showels, Mino is currently filming a movie with Megan Fox that will probably be real cool or whatever, but he's playing a soldier in it. So we are all military positive haircut. His head is shaved.
Yeah.
But when he's been going on awards shows, he is very clearly wearing a wig, and we're just like, all of us Mino fans have just been like, just let us see it.
Wear your hair, whatever it is. Like, it's fine. I'm sure you still look beautiful. Yeah. You look great no matter what. Nothing could be worse than the Lucifer baby bangs. So just take the wig off, you coward.
Just take it off, coward. So anyway, confetti.
You can always tell if a boy is wearing a wig by the way it sits on his head. Mm-hmm. It's either too tall up by his forehead or it doesn't lay flat on the nape of his neck. Just a tip.
Yeah.
Pro tip. for those looking for wigs.
Yeah. And
this ties into our new segment called Is This a Wig?
If you are unsure if something is a wig, send it to us. We'll judge.
K-pop boys may wear more wigs than you think.
Yep, that's one of my best catchphrases.
Yeah.
Okay, so after the intro, the first person to start the show, I have thoughts about this, Momoland.
Yeah.
They did a mashup of Boom Boom and Bam.
Yeah.
Now,
which I think was a mistake.
I agree, because we get it. They're the same song, and leaning into that isn't fun.
No, I thought it was a terrible idea, because it's like Boom Boom and Bam came out far enough apart in the year where you could be like, oh, there are a lot of similarities in this song. Like, okay, I get your thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, quote unquote, this is your thing, right? But when you layer them on top of each other the way that they did for this show, where it was literally like the first verse of Bam and then the chorus of Boom Boom and then the hook of Bam, like it literally just alternated, and it wasn't like they combined the choreo and they literally just cut and pasted, alternated a verse, and like one group, the group that was doing the Boom Boom parts were all wearing pink, and the group that was doing the Bam Bam parts were all wearing white, and they were even like separate.
Yes.
It felt really stupid in the sense that was like, you're drawing attention to the fact that you did literally the same song twice.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a bad idea. It makes you look bad.
Yeah, it isn't cute. And I also, just as somebody who knows both of those choreographies, found it very stressful.
Oh, yeah.
And looking at their faces, I was stressed out because I could tell that they, like we said at the beginning, they probably hadn't practiced this a ton of times. Like, they didn't have time to. Mm-hmm. So there was like a fear in their eyes that, like, they've done both of those songs hundreds of times, but like, to mix them up, that's just like asking
there
for
was
trouble.
Just the look in their eye of like, you could just tell that they were thinking so hard because they had to fight the urge
to do the other
dance, even though each member was only doing one of them. They weren't, like I said, they weren't switching back and forth.
Right.
So like, if you were either on the Bam team or you were on the Boom Boom team, but like to be doing Boom Boom and then the chorus
while
of
the Bam is
starts,
playing.
Oh. Rough.
Yeah.
Rough.
It was
Plus they were going first, and like that's got to be intimidating too. My heart felt for them.
Yeah.
I felt like that wasn't they could have done better.
Yes.
They could have done better.
And then next up was a G-Idol remix. This was a pre-tape, or it was in...
Or it was in that other studio.
Yeah.
It wasn't in the one
where
in the
and
main
the
stage.
stuff
where
was.
there was an audience
Yes,
in that
that's
stage.
the thing, is like, that's why it felt like a music show, because it felt to me in all of those, like, either pre-tapes or happening in another room once. It was a smaller room, completely surrounded by just the fans of that thing, like at a music show.
No celeb audience.
Yes.
You know what? I think that they were filmed at the same time, and it was just happening in another room, because some of the celeb audience performed in the other room.
You're right.
And they were still wearing the same costumes.
You're right. So it
I
must
think they
have
did
been
happen
at the same time. So G-Idol did like a slight remix.
It was called a house version of Han, which was basically an octave lower than the original one, which was fine. Like they did a really good job. Mm-hmm. I thought they really slayed it.
And then they cut out to the street. Porpagansa, did a little one of their cute little guitar songs out in the street of Hongdae.
Yeah, which was a really cute segment. Mm-hmm. And clearly they did perform it live, because at the end of the show, the girls were on the stage. But the audio that they used
was not what was happening.
Not at all what was happening outside. There were like 3 more instruments in that audio, which I didn't even realize until halfway through the song. And I was like, wait a minute. That's a piano in the background. Like, there's a violin in this song.
And people in the background were like singing along and clapping. And it was just like, that was not on the track.
They just like piped in the like regular audio, which I thought was kind of a bummer. Like, I wonder, I don't know. That was kind of a shame.
Personally, I will just say, like, I really like the music that those girls make. I really like those albums. They are like very good background music, but I have seen them live several times, and they are often very, very off. Like the main girl doesn't often sing and key. Like, I feel like sometimes they're really disappointing live. So there's a chance that they might have had to overdub it.
I was not familiar with that group or that song, but I wrote that it was a cute, bubbly, made for TV movie montage music.
They sing those like the like ice cream and the chocolate songs that like I feel like you might have heard them in my car before. They just like sing like nice cafe music. Next I have Icon came out. Yes.
No, you skipped.
I skipped
a group, I guess, called Vibe and Ben.
Oh, you're right.
It was just 3 people in white suits, 2 boys and a girl. I wrote highest falsetto I've ever heard, and then I skipped it because it was just like a ballad that I wasn't familiar with.
Yeah, I guess I didn't even write it down.
But then it was Icon.
Then it was Icon.
Yeah. And they did Goodbye Road and Love Scenario. And honestly, they were great.
They were great. And they were in the main room. Yeah. No, I have Icon pre-tape. B2B was next and they were in the main room.
Yeah. They were in the main room. I thought Icon was really good. I have not been very familiar with Icon until just recently when in our dance class we learned the dance to Killing Me. And I really liked that song. I was like, this song is very interesting and the choreo was cool. And then watching this performance of both Goodbye Road and Love Scenario, like they sound great.
Yeah.
And both of those songs are jams. I really, really enjoyed them.
Yeah, they were great. And then, and they even opened that segment with a little, because I guess a lot of these segments were supposedly themed, and it would be like, ooh, these were the hotness that people searched for, or this was the
yeah. So right before Icon and B2B and well, I guess it was just Icon and B2B. So right before they came out, the MCs came out and they introduced the next 2 performers as being favorite sing-alongs.
Yeah, so and they showed those videos of all the kids like singing Love Scenario and stuff.
Icon was like the most, was the favorite of kids in school, like elementary school students.
Yeah, because they love that Love Scenario song.
Yeah.
And then B2B came out and they sang that song that they came out with
Only
this
one
year.
For me.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
And it was nice. I don't know.
It was fine.
Nice.
I didn't really like it. I was kind of bored.
Yeah.
But whatever.
It just was.
They looked nice.
Then Sunmi came out to slay.
And I wrote boobs because it started with an overhead shot. And it was just like cleavage in her like dramatic as fuck sequined silver flapper
It had
dress.
had like chandelier chains of like
it was like
jewels hanging off
diamond dripping from her dress. Like it was she was great.
It was great. She did Siren and then she like marched out to the weird couch where all of the panicked celebrities and excited ass Mino were waiting to do the Gashina dance real quick. And he was the only one who looked really excited to do it. Everybody else seemed
Everyone else was like, oh no, what is she doing? Why is she coming over here? And Mino was like, yes, come over here. What are we going to do? And that was really
He was
cute.
having a really good time. It was very fun.
He was having fun.
Okay, so next was something that literally every Gayo did this year, which was a Queen tribute. Because I guess, like many people, South Korea saw Bohemian Rhapsody and decided that Queen is good.
Yeah.
Yadoy.
For the first time realized that Queen is Queen.
So Hwasa comes out in those awful cut-off Chunga jeans that we talked about last week.
Those fucking garter belt jeans that I did not want to catch on, and now we're all doomed.
We're all doomed. So she did.
First sign of the apocalypse.
I know.
Pop-apocalypse.
Pop-apocalypse. So she did Bohemian Rhapsody
and Rock You.
And it was, who were the boys? It wasn't Day 6. Was it Day 6 or was it like a different, I feel like the rock band boys that were playing with her were someone.
I actually wrote down who is the backing band because I didn't know and I didn't catch it in the introduction because this stage was introduced as being variety show performers that stole audience hearts. And so the first one was Hwasa, who was dubbed like the queen of eating, because on all of the variety shows that she was on this year, like anything she ate on the show immediately would like get sold out or something by like, people watching.
And there was also like this clip that was going around a lot of her I Live Alone, because she wears really, really, really long nails, like much longer than most people would deal with.
Yeah.
And she was just like eating ferociously, like with these enormous nails, and then everybody just found it so like fascinating.
Yeah.
And like, wow, she's like very good at maneuvering those stupid nails that she like has all the time.
Yeah. And then the second part of the Queen tribute was like tied into some other variety show person whose group, it's like a duo named Narazo, and they, I guess, are famous for like their transformations. They seem to be like celebrity impressionists in a way. But anyway, I really died when Hwasa's backup dancers came out for We Will Rock You, because it was just the cheesiest, like corniest thing. I don't know. Something about that whole stage was just like so lame to me. It seemed really, really corny. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. I found out who the band was. I was doing some Googling.
Who is it?
They're called Onewe, Onewe, and they are a band under RBW, which is Mama Moo's company. So
Okay.
it was like her company band.
All right. Well, yeah, so she came out in those terrible pants and she did a very silly, I mean, she sounded phenomenal because she's a great singer, but like it was just a silly performance.
Yeah.
And then this group, Narazo, came out and they did I Was Born to Love You and Don't Stop Me Now. And the main guy was wearing this like insane lime
wig
green
and lime jumpsuit.
No, that's not a wig. That was definitely his hair.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely his hair. It might have been a fake mustache.
Okay.
But it was for sure his hair. And he was wearing this like bell-bottomed, like velour lime green bedazzled onesie, and his counterpart had like a mesh shirt on. And they sounded amazing. And I just wrote like, I think Freddie Mercury would love this.
Yeah.
It was like a man of a person of questionable gender and like a man in a mesh, and they were just wailing.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Next thing I had in my notes, we talked about it this morning, but I just wrote slow sadness for 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was another variety show stage. So like the first one with Queen was like variety show performers who stole our hearts, and the second one was variety show tear jerkers, so like contestants or competitors on different shows that made the audience cry. And so the two singers had been on other singing competition shows, and they did like an acoustic whistle. The first one was like an acoustic version of that Blackpink whistle song We Put On, and then they did like some other medley of songs I didn't really know. It was really long. I skipped ahead.
Yeah. I skipped ahead too. It was like literally 10 minutes.
And I didn't know who either of those people were. So I was just like, okay, goodbye.
And then the next thing I had was like specifically introduced as like a boy group segment, or like these are the hot boy groups. So the NCT Babies came out. I just wrote NCT Baby. I know they're called NCT Dream, but they're called NCT Baby to me.
Yeah, I was a little bit disappointed with the NCT Dream stage, if only because I feel like NCT Dream came out with better songs than this year. They did Go and We Go Up, which are like too similar of songs.
They're both just screaming.
Both just say go, we go, go. Like it was a lot.
So young.
Yeah, I just wrote like these songs are dumb and they make me think of a 90s b-ball themed music video, a la like NSYNC has got the flow.
Yes.
We go.
Oh my God, that's
like,
exactly
that's
what it sounds like. Here we go one more time.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was whatever. I don't know. They came out with better shit this year, I think.
And then Monsta X.
Yep, they did Spotlight and Shootout. That was fine. The shootout move that intro move never gets old to me.
I don't get tired of it. But like, again, yeah, it was just like the 8th time in 3 weeks I had seen them do this on, because that's the time of year.
Exactly, because they did all of the music
awards
shows, all the award shows, and then And this song didn't come out that long ago. So it was like music shows, then award shows, then end of the year shows. And it's like, okay, this is like the 20th time that we've seen it.
Yeah. So I was like a little surprised that they didn't do Jealousy, because that also came out this year. Like they could have done Jealousy at any point, and they didn't.
Oh, well.
Oh, well.
I mean, Shootout is kind of like a phenomenon. So sure, ride that wave.
Yeah. And then BTS, or just some of BTS, came out to do that song Mic Drop. Which I'm pretty sure it doesn't have all the members in it. It didn't have all
of them in it. It only had maybe like 5?
There's 7 of them total, yes.
Oh, I'm the wrong person to ask for that.
Yes, but there are. I'm sure of this.
Now that I'm thinking about it, though, I didn't write down that it seemed like some of them weren't there, so I honestly can't tell you.
I just remember that they did Mic Drop, and that is a song
remix version.
I know is a Steve Aoki song, and that possibly not all of them are in it. But anyway, that was just like a teaser of BTS, because they weren't done. Like they'd be back.
Yeah, they just came out and did that one song. That one. And then they came back later. Twice, I think, actually. No, just one more time.
Just the one more time.
Just one other time.
And then to close out the first half, MCs came out and talked about how important TVXQ is, and how TVXQ specifically inspired members of 101. So a couple of 101s came out.
Only 5 here's where only 5 of them came out, because I did write down where's the rest of 101, because there was only 5 of them, and I don't keep up with 101, so I was like, oh, did some of them like leave and now there's only 5? But anyway, they came out and they did Rising Sun, which isn't a good TVXQ song, so like whatever.
And then unfairly to the rest of everybody, they brought out TVXQ.
So this show is broken. I mean, it all airs at once, but it's for some reason broken up into part 1 and part 2. So TVXQ was the closing of part 1. And they fucking brought it down.
Yeah, it was amazing. But this is what made me feel like it was almost a definite that some things were pre-recorded, because TVXQ started with like a medley of like a melodic and a keep your head down and whatever.
They did Drop It.
Okay.
And was going so hard. And then they did melodic, and Changmin entered on that fucking high note, greased up like a thought. Like, his hair was so greasy. And then they did Chance of Love. And
then and when they did that, they were cutting to like EXO being shook on the couch, and like everyone was there. Then they were in different outfits, completely surrounded by Cassies, which made me think that second half was a pre-record.
Yeah, that's totally possible, because I noted that too, that like, because when Changmin first came out, his hair was like greasy. And then when they came out to do Truth, which was like the first time that song was performed, because it's their newest song that just came out, they had a complete costume change. Changmin's hair was like very nice and dry and blow dried. But I don't remember it being on a different stage.
It was the same room, but there were only Cassies in the front, and in the pit corner where the celebrity couches should be, nothing. There was nothing over there.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I thought it was recorded earlier.
It must have been recorded earlier. But like but they were fantastic. Like they were so good. Changmin's high notes were out of this world.
He's so good.
Out of this world.
Okay, that was the first half. Second half. So they started the second half with what I called the baby boy segment.
I called it a new generation stage, because I think that's what they called it.
Okay, yeah. So first, Stray Kids / The Boys came out to do HOT, Warriors Descendant by HOT. Yeah. And it was insane, because there were like 22 people on the stage, and like
so many people.
I've only ever seen that choreo done with 5 people. So it was like really nuts to see it done with like so many people.
Yeah, the stage was just full. And then Golden Child came out and did Let Me and Genie, which was very cute. The Boys came out after that and did No Air, which was dramatic.
Yes.
So dramatic. Starts out with one boy doing this like crazy dance, which was beautiful. And then like all of the other ones came out, and there are a lot of them in that group. There's 12. Only
That's
12,
a lot.
but whatever. And then Stray Kids closed it out with I Am You. And I don't really know anything about any of those groups because they're all too young. So I just said, okie dokie. And then I moved on.
And I moved along. Then it was I have Girl Spirit. Is that what they called it?
Yeah.
I don't know why I would have written that down otherwise.
It was like the new boys. And then it was the new girls, but they didn't do a collaboration stage like Golden Child or like the boys and Stray Kids did with HOT. They just did their own individual performances. And first it was Gugudan, who did Not My Type, in Bad Girl School uniforms, which I wrote like, because what is K-pop without at least one Bad Girl School uniform?
Yeah, definitely.
But I really liked that performance. I thought it was catchy and dancey, and I liked the song.
Yeah.
I thought they did a good job.
And then it was WJSN.
Which is Cosmic Girls.
That's Cosmic Girls.
Yeah, and they did...
They're not G...
that's GWSN.
Oh, God.
And they did Puzzle Moon. Okay. I did literally the exact same thing,
It's
so I
hard.
Googled it.
It's hard.
Yeah. They are Cosmic Girls, and they did Save Me, Save You.
Yes.
This performance was also very dramatic. It was like the way that the boys... performance was dramatic, and then these girls came out and it was like thunderstorm and lightning, and they were wearing these like red lacy outfits.
Right.
They were literally dancing to a beat that no one but them could hear. Which is not to say that they were dancing off beat. It's just to say that like literally the only audio was of a thunderstorm. But they were doing choreography to it, and it was really wild. And then they came out and they did their song, Save Me, Save You, which had cool choreography, but is not a song I was familiar with.
Right. And then it capped off with Lovelies, which started with one of the members playing piano very lovely. They were wearing all white like pretty fairy girls.
Yep. Yeah. I wrote Fairy Idol to the max. I almost forgot people still made music like this because I don't listen to any of that kind of music. So like I literally forgot that groups still existed that made that. But then also I wrote, but are they brides? Because they had bouquets as their microphones.
Interesting.
So maybe it was like some, I don't know. I didn't bother to look up the lyrics.
Interesting.
But it seemed to have like a wedding theme.
A listener recently has been trying to get me onto Lovelies. They think that I will like them. I probably will.
They're up your alley, I think.
I think so too. And then our trot queen, Hong Jin Young, came out and did, I wrote Spanish trot. What the fuck? Like, that's what I wrote when the song started.
I wrote that too. I wrote Spanish themed trot. LOL. Trot is a treat.
It is. It's the kookiest thing. And then she was like doing her dance and everyone's having a good time. And they keep cutting to like Mino and Hongchul in the audience. And then Hongchul got up and like went and joined her. Like it was like a fun surprise.
Yeah, because they were like Hong Jin Young and surprise collaboration. And it just had like plus, it was like Hong Jin Young plus question mark. And then the MC jumped up and like he didn't sing. He just like danced a little bit at the very end. And that was it.
That was cute. Their next segment they called Fantasia.
Yes.
Which I noticed when we were looking up some weird performances last night. I feel like there were other Gayo stages that were called Fantasia.
Oh, really?
That seems like a word they would use. Like the Midnight Fantasy Garden at
yeah. Well, at this point in the show, I no longer had subtitles. Okay. I don't know what they introduced
it was called
them as.
Fantasia.
All I wrote was that the little capes that Oh My Girl were wearing were
those little capes.
Fucking cute. They were oh my girl indeed. They looked beautiful. There was one of them because like some of them were collars and some of them had turtlenecks, but they all had these little capes and they all had long sleeves, and one of the little capes had these little stars sewn onto it, and it looked like fluffy and delicate. Oh, it was beautiful. Those costumes were gorgeous.
They were great. They were really good. Yeah. And they sang like one of my favorite songs off of their first album or their earlier album from this year. And I hadn't seen them in a little while. And like one of the members who had braces last time I saw her like doesn't anymore. And I was like, oh my girl, you're growing up. And then G-Friend did Time for the Moon Night. And they like started with this very interesting thing where one of the members was dancing and an animated shadow version of her was like also doing the dance
behind
her on the screen.
Yeah.
And that was a little something. This segment, I was weirded out by the fanboys. Sorry. The way they yell makes me feel scared.
I also wrote, wow, the fan chants, because the fan chants for specifically during G-Friend were so loud.
Yeah.
And there's just something like, I don't know, maybe it's like a weird like survival instinct of like my woman lizard brain that's like, when I hear
a whole bunch of men screaming like that,
shouting, I'm just like, run for your life.
Yes. I agree. I don't know. It makes me scared.
I was just like, this is not a good place to be.
Get away.
But whatever.
Yeah. And then A-Pink came out.
I did not
like their outfits at
recognize
all. Oh,
them.
You didn't recognize them? I didn't like their outfits. I was upset about their outfits.
Yeah, I didn't love their outfits, but also like because when they first like transitioned from G-Friend to A-Pink, like they were happening on different stages, and so the camera just like suddenly panned like across like a line of dancers or whatever, and I didn't recognize literally any of them until the song started, and then I was like, oh, this is A-Pink. And then obviously I could like find all of their faces, but when they first appeared, I was like, who is this group?
Yeah, and this was their third unnecessary remix of the week. Like they went to every Gayo this year and did some like a different interpretation of "I'm So Sick" at every single one.
Yeah,
and I didn't love it. And again, they like didn't look confident in any of them because I knew they didn't have. They have a comeback in a week, so they were not practicing.
They're
this
like
shit.
preparing other things. Yeah,
so it was weird. Then I wrote Baekjeon and Chen.
Yeah, they came out. I wrote pretty but snore.
Yeah. It was pretty boring.
Yeah, it was dull. This was a point where I like got up and was like doing other things and just let it play in the background because it was just like Chen and singing like pretty. But as I was telling you earlier, I also felt like because I've watched, there are many songs of his that I've watched where it's just a ballad, but like the ballad is powerful and dynamic and like really shows off his skills as a singer. And this ballad, I didn't think did any of those things. So it was just, it's not worth watching.
It was fine.
Sorry, baby.
Next. 17 came out to do BSS, and I wrote, they look like angels.
I wrote, oh, they're all doing it together. The only thing better than BSS is all of 17.
Yeah, so it was like really fun to see them all Just Do It. And like Josh and June like saying lines. I was like, this is crazy. It's like a different song now.
I know, but it was so fun. And like Boo Suk-soon were still like the leads in it, which was good. I was like, don't take that away from them. Like they worked really hard on their comeback and they did a really great job. And they just looked like icy Disney princesses.
Yeah, they were wearing like
princes.
white and ice blue like suits. And they like I said they look like angels.
Yeah.
And then they did after the Just Do It like transitioned into an Oh My.
Like a different, like slightly shortened version of Oh My.
Boo got so much camera time. I just was very, like, they just weren't even putting the camera on other people. And I was like, there you go, babe. You get it all.
Yeah.
Then VIX came out to continue their like vampire.
Oh my gosh.
They've spent the end of this year just like going like full creepy vampire. Their fans are like I've seen them like losing their minds over this.
Full creepy vampire. And I have not kept up with VIX. I am not like a particularly strong VIX fan. So like I had never heard this song before, like seen any of their performances. And so I just saw, like, I was like, oh, the song's called Resurrection. And then I was like, ooh, vampires, like way more on the nose than I expected it to be, but I wasn't not into it.
Right.
And by the end of the song, I was like, I literally wrote correction, very into it. Love a smoky eye. And this choreo is sexy.
Yeah. It was, I did appreciate that Ravi took his mullet off. I thought it was really, I put a picture of it on the Twitter a couple of days ago after it happened, being like, LOL, shout out to Ravi for like best mullet of the year.
I remember you
and
saying,
people were like, but it's bad. And I was like, oh no, y'all, I was just trying to be like, look at this crazy ass mullet.
You guys, mullets are bad, period.
They're always bad.
Some mullets are tolerable. see JB and Minghao. But like mullets are not a good look.
They're not good. But it is weird that he still has that like skunk white highlight in his hair right now.
It wasn't as intense in the Gayo that we watched. It's gray.
Okay, yeah.
It's not white anymore. It's gray.
But it like makes him look like a spooky vampire.
It's totally
like, owns the
vampiric,
manor.
for sure.
Like it's very spooky.
Yeah. It is 100% on the nose with this whole resurrection idea.
So yeah, Vix is going full vampire. That's fun.
I don't hate it.
Then Sweet Got 7.
They came out. They did Look. I thought it was interesting that they chose to do just that song.
Yeah.
But I didn't hate it. When they first started, though, they did like a little intro and like the lights were down and it was like really dark. And the only thing that you could see was somebody's shiny pants.
Oh my God. Bam Bam was wearing like full holographic,
like
shiny
glitter
pants.
disco pants. They were so bright because I wrote shiny pants. Who is it? And before the lights even came up, I could identify it as Bam Bam. But yeah, they did a great job.
Yeah, they did. And they also like had been at many end of the year, many a Gayo previously. They'd done like a dark version of Lullaby. They'd done like
a dark
done
version
all
of
of these things. So a look is nice. Like that's what I'm saying. I appreciate a reach back to an earlier single in the year. Like
totally.
We've seen you do the end of the year single a bunch of times. Like give us something else.
And then you don't even have to worry about remixing the choreo or doing something new with it because you're just doing the song that you haven't heard in a while. Like, I think that's a great choice. And JB doesn't have a mullet anymore and he still looks fine AF.
Fine AF.
My leather studded jacket. I love you. Leather jacket stud.
Leather jacket stud. There we go. So then next was a tribute to Tiger JK, which
they called Drunken Tiger.
Yes, he goes by both, and I think he said pardon me that I'm fuzzy on these details, but Drunken Tiger is like one of his rap personas, and I think he said this year that like he's putting Drunken Tiger away.
Okay,
like.
Sure.
Something
like how Snoop Doggy Dogg turned into Snoop Dogg,
Lion.
turned into Snoop Lion. Gotcha.
Right. So they did like a nice tribute to him that started with like a cool, I appreciated like video package of like rappers from all different groups, like talking about how he inspired them. And like stuff like that. Then Juan and I Am from Monsta X like started with like a cover of one of his songs.
Which is called Monster.
And then he Tiger JK came out. Then his wife came out, and the other, I never can remember the name of the other guy that like hangs. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Yoon Mire and Busy.
Yes. Okay. Because when we saw them, like they're usually like a trio. But yeah, they just did a nice.
Yeah.
Really classic rapping rap. Like he's one of those like
they had super crazy outfits. He went from like Dementor chic to like I don't know what kind of like hobo boogeyman crawled out from underneath the couch.
Right.
Literally reminded me of that Disney movie, a made for TV movie, The Boogeyman. Which one is that?
Yeah.
What's under the bed? Don't look under the bed.
Don't look under the bed.
Because he had like this crazy top hat on but the top hat was made of like wire. You could see through it. And like he had put on like a curly wig. Like he wasn't wearing that curly hair in the first song. And then he had like this weird jacket over his like Dementor chic. I don't know. He looked bananas. But his wife spat in English and like she did a phenomenal job.
I I love watching her because she does rap in English a lot. So I can at least
yeah, you can like appreciate the cleverness of the lyrics.
I think we've said this before. Like I feel like a reason that I can't get into or appreciate Korean rap is like I don't understand it. I don't know who's being clever. I don't know who's like being fast. But like
and like when you don't speak the language, it's also harder to hear the words, and so like as in distinguish between individual
when the word
words.
Stops and a new one starts.
Exactly. So you can't even really appreciate the speed or like technical skill that someone has in rapping if you don't really have an understanding of that language that they're rapping in.
Right.
So it's fun that she does it in English sometimes.
Yeah, they're great. Love them. That was fun. Then was the like quote unquote final 101 performance.
Yep. They did Light and Energetic. Which I just absolutely love. that song.
Energetic
is such a good song.
It's such a good song.
Thank
you, Hui. Thank you, Hui, forever.
Yeah.
I love Energetic, and I'm sad that I'll never get to see anyone perform it again, I guess. Wah.
I guess so, yeah. We didn't talk about that, but 101 is no more.
Yeah, that was... I mean, I heard that they still have, like, a couple of concerts and, like, a fan sign at some point this month. Like, it wasn't their actual final performance, but on paper, on January 1st, 101
contractually
is disbanded.
Yeah.
And companies have already started announcing,
being like, this guy's going to be in this.
What
coming
they're
up
going to do with the boys.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
I'm
But
feeling so energetic.
I liked the performance, but I just I don't know, their fangirls seemed sad. They see I don't know,
they were sad
because they were cheering, but they seemed a little sad. Like, that's probably such a bummer.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine what that's like.
And then a Mamamoo stage.
Oh my God, this Mamamoo medley. These queens came out in black and gold soldier uniforms, ready for battle.
Yeah.
They killed it. And Wheein was even injured. She was sitting the whole time, and she still slayed it in that chair.
I was trying to remember when we saw them, was she in a chair? Was she the one who was chaired?
I don't remember.
Or was Solar chaired? I think it was her.
I think it was Wheein, actually.
Maybe she has a bad ankle or something that keeps giving her trouble. Because when we saw Mamamoo, she was also
sitting
stuck
down
on a stool the whole time.
But she did a great job. I even loved how I can't remember. I didn't write down the name of the song that they did the little partner dance in, but there was some part in the medley which I highly recommend you guys watch. It was really good. Mamamoo slays. Always. But there's one of the songs that they do a partner dance with boys, and Wheein still did it in the chair. It was really fucking cute. It was they did a really good job of working it in. Unlike SHINee when Jeongyeon was just in a cage. They did a very good job of working her in. Also, I wrote down, because we brought this up during G-Friend, I literally wrote down, don't you just love female audience fan chants for other girl groups? Because Mamamoo's fan chants are super loud, and they're all women. And when the camera pans to the audience, it's girls screaming and cheering and having such a fun time. And I really, really love the Moo fandom.
Yeah, it's great.
They're sweet and fun.
So this next moment, I don't know if you caught this, because if you weren't subtitling anymore, this was the 9 minutes before midnight. I took extensive notes because it was crazy.
Okay, I got up and walked around at this point because I was I no longer have subtitles for this.
So they cut to the stage. Our four MCs are at the front. Oh, and they had changed outfits for the second half. I was wearing a way too long coat. I didn't like it. It was like a tuxedo, but the coat was
that's
just
when I wrote that his suit was so shiny and his wig was so bad.
Yeah.
Because he changed outfits.
Yeah, it wasn't great. But they cut to the stage, and now all the performers, all the groups are out there. Everybody's on the stage.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, we have 9 minutes till midnight. Cool. So, and then there's a couple people on stage wearing piggy hats, and they're everyone who's wearing a piggy hat was born in the year of the pig. So, and then they would just call on one of them, and they'd be are you excited for the new year? And then every single idol would be I just want to say thank you to my fans. We're going to work very hard next year. Happy New Year.
Yeah.
And no one would oh my God. It
was painful. Even without subtitles, it was painful, particularly because as they would turn around and be so-and-so, let's hear from so-and-so. For example, they said Joshua from 17, but 17 was way in the back of the crowd. And so Joshua started talking before he appeared. He started to answer the question, on his way through the crowd, and then appeared and was standing in between Yuna and the Astro. And then after he finished his question, they had given him a mic. And after he finished, they didn't tell him what to do. So he stood there awkwardly, as a part of the MC line. And then he just silently handed the microphone back to the Astro and was I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
Really
no, it was really funny because it was because I just think they were trying to fill time because they talked to somebody and then they'd be 7 minutes till midnight. Okay, let's talk to one more person. And then they Namju from A-Pink, and but nobody was giving them enough to actually fill time. So they kept having to be one more. We'll talk to one more person. one more person.
But you know what? That Astro should have known to just pull up Sungkwan, and he would have filled that time in no seconds flat. Like
EXO was back there. They love attention.
They couldn't come out because they hadn't performed yet. They weren't allowed to come back. They were off in the back doing countdown stories.
You're totally right.
Instagram.
But then they do the midnight countdown. It's midnight now.
Yeah.
It happened. They cut to some poor kids standing out at a temple who like could not hear that they were live, and they were just staring, awkward. Then they cut back to the stadia, or to the audience, which was really funny to watch because I had seen on several groups' Instagrams like videos from the stage, because you could see at midnight that a lot of the groups were in huddles and stuff, and a lot of them had put videos of that like on Insta already, so I'd seen it from the other angle. But then they were like, all right, it's 2019, who is 20 now? And then they like pulled kids from groups who are now of age, because Korean age is complicated.
Right.
So they like got the twice Nancy. She came up and they were like, you're 20 now. What do you want to do? And she was like, I want to be in a liquor commercial. And everyone was like, yay.
Love it. Way to plug yourself, Nancy.
Yeah. And that was fun. And then there were more performances.
Yeah, there were 5 more.
So then they went to what I thought was the oddest of the pre-records or whatever, this Twice performance, because it seemed to be recorded on a soundstage and there didn't seem to be an audience. Like there was something about the angle of that one where it just felt like they were in a room.
Oh, I don't remember that one feeling particularly different.
But they did Yes or Yes and Dance the Night Away.
Yep.
But I wrote that it was weird because something about the room or the stage they were on seemed odd.
Oh, I don't remember noticing that. I wrote that they sound good. They've definitely grown as singers. I know that like I've usually complained about their use of autotune, and like the quality of their live singing in this performance was pretty good. And I can like definitely appreciate the complexity of their choreography, but their music just isn't my style.
Yeah. Then Winner came out in really horrible tie-dye outfits. I just like wrote that the outfits were really horrible, and it was like all I could concentrate on. They like did Every Day, which was like a song I really liked this year.
And Millions.
Okay, yeah. But their outfits were really bad.
I wrote that Icon is better.
Ooh. Wow, fighting words. But
that's
maybe
it.
It's true.
I threw it down. Come at me. Take your G-Dragon knockoff and get out of here.
Then Red Velvet came out. I wrote, I hate Irene's top.
Oh my God, I wrote, oh my God, that green feather top. That green feather top was bananas. It was like she was wearing a white turtleneck that had essentially a tube top made of green feathers stitched onto it. So
it was unflattering. It was ugly. I was very upset about it.
It looked crazy. It looked like a nightmare out of Clueless. It was a bad choice. But they did an intro, and then they like a little dance intro where each one of them got like a dance break, and then they did Really Bad Boy. They're impeccable as always. And then BTS came out and they did Idol. That was their like last performance of the evening. And then the show ended with EXO, who did Love Shot and Tempo.
Yes. And then the ending, I wrote, what is this, in all caps, because they ended the show with Hope, which is this terrible HOT song that is written to Ode to Joy.
Yep.
And they end every SM Town family concert with this song. So it was really funny to like watch all of the SM groups be like, we know how to do this.
Yep.
And then everybody else who like had to also sing, like, because they distributed the lines throughout the groups like they do at the SM show, but it was like not all SM artists who had to participate in the song.
And they didn't like really make a thing out of it, because the first 3 lines that were given, the camera found the singer, and then they stopped trying to figure it out. And so just like a voice would come from somewhere in this crowd of idols, because it was like 10 different groups all on stage, and like every group nowadays has 8 or more members in it, for God's sakes. So there was just like literally a fuck ton of people on the stage. You couldn't tell who was singing, and halfway through the song 17 just left.
Yeah, 17 left.
They didn't even stay.
And Kai, XO Kai, was the only person on that farthest end of the stage. Everybody else was like looking at each other, like dancing, having a good time, but Kai was noticing that a whole 13 member group was leaving, so he was bowing to every single person, and he was the only one, and they like were leaving. It was so awkward and funny.
I think there were like a couple other members of EXO that also like bowed to them and like said goodbye as they left, which made me giggle and like wonder if they've become friends or like if they are any closer of acquaintances than they used to be, because well, for one, like I know that several members of 17 are now friends with SHINee, so like maybe they could have become friends that way. But I always think of that video that came from some like Idol Athletics Championship, whatever. Oh my God, where Sehun goes up to Jonghan because he thinks that he's somebody else, and so like Sehun like comes up and like starts talking to Jonghan, like continues a conversation with Jonghan that he was having with somebody else, and halfway through realizes that he is talking to the wrong person and just literally walks away. Says nothing, just says, oh, and turns and walks away like the most awkward robot that he could possibly be. And it's like such a funny moment. And then Jonghan goes and he laughs with Monsta X about it.
Yes. I love idols being friends.
But anyway, I wonder if 17 and EXO are friends now. Well, they don't need to be. I'm just curious.
All right. Well, I mean, that was a long one. We filled some time with that. But, I mean, I thought it was fun. I haven't watched a full Gayo in years, so it was interesting.
I totally loved it. I thought it was really fun. I mean, if you have, like, time to kill or whatever, like, I don't know if anybody's ever watched any of the full like Music Bank or M countdowns or whatever. Like they're kind of fun to just like put on in the background and do different stuff because you really don't need to listen to whatever the MC is saying. It's really all for the performances.
Usually just bantering.
Yeah, and it's just for like you're there for the performances, and that's what these shows are all about. I think they're a fun concept.
Yeah. So that's everything you need to know about Gayo's end of the year music festivals.
Yeah.
And we'll be right back with a random game. Okay, we're back.
And this time, we got an old school first generation group.
A co-ed one at that.
I know, it's been a while.
It's been a while. I do think in 2019 we should do a co-ed group episode sometime because there's like 10 of them total. Like we could talk about it.
Yeah, we could totally do that.
But anyway, this group is called Coyote is how they pronounce it. It looks like coyote, but with a K.
Yeah.
Coyote.
And sometimes it's spelled Tae at the end.
Oh, Coyote. I see.
Yeah.
They debuted in 1998 as a girl and two boys.
Yep, they were Korean dance and hip hop music under KYT Entertainment, and technically, like according to their Wikipedia, they're still together. Like they have not disbanded, but they haven't put out music in a while.
But yeah, basically, what we found here is that the girl whose name,
Shinji,
is basically Coyote because she's had 7 dudes like rotate through.
Yeah. And they've rotated through for a couple different reasons.
6.
Like maybe 6, I guess.
6 total,
6 different boys have been a part of this group with her. Because the original 2 that were with her, one of them was from the US, and after their first album, he moved back to the US. So they brought in like a third guy to replace him. And then the other original dude got arrested for illegal drug charges. And so he got kicked out of the group and was replaced. So then they had 2 new people. And then they
went to the military, so they got replaced.
So from, what did I say, like 2003 to 2010, they had a rotation of people basically solely because of their military service.
Yeah.
So currently the members are still listed as Baekga, Shinji, and
Kim
Jongmin. So yeah.
So we've got this very, very, very old YouTube video that was actually uploaded 12 years ago, which is pretty old for a YouTube video.
Yeah, and it does have over 1 million views.
And somebody wrote in the title, Origin of Gangnam Style Dance. So we'll have to see what this is. But here is Coyote, Pure Love.
He's the rapper.
He has bleached blonde hair.
And big earrings, and I can definitely see a bucket hat.
Bucket hat.
Just the edge of a bucket hat.
It's all just, this was 20 years ago, and it's all just coming back one more time.
I know. I'm really... We'll have to talk about that after this music video is over, but I'm worried.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She looks like a ghost in that one shot because they have so much lighting on her that her skin is like translucent. That one.
Yes. Oh, yeah. No, totally. She looks like she's going to disappear.
Yeah. She looks like she's coming out of a scary movie.
Mm-hmm. Also, this is a very close close-up. It's not super nice.
There's a lot of really, really close close-ups.
And that's awful. Don't do that.
That's so rough. Well, that was like, for the rapper, you could only see the hint of a bucket hat because it was such a close-up on his mouth. I also really like how the Korean characters are like coming at you in the screen. Like, this music video has text on the screen, but like during the whoa parts, like it's like coming at you.
They also...
Oh, that was an abrupt ending.
And then a poster of them unfurled.
Wait a minute, but did you notice how they never showed the rapper's full face? Even in that, look at that last shot.
Oh my God.
His head is cut off.
They didn't show his face. They only showed the bottom half of his mouth. Oh my God. Was he ugly? Was he like extremely ugly?
Maybe he was a guest.
Oh.
Because it says Coyote and Sunjung.
Interesting.
Maybe this was a point in which they only had two.
Weird.
Anyway.
Okay. That was a thing.
Anyway, it's interesting that we would get such a 90s video, if only because just this morning.
Yeah.
We were discussing our concerns for the 90s looks that are potentially coming back in this 2019 year that we're on the cusp of.
I showed Angelica a picture of Yuto from Pentagon's current haircut, and you were like, no, this is an HOT. It's an HOT haircut, and the highlights are
borderline.
Yep, that's what it is.
Chunky ass 90s. It is like one tint away from being that HOT skunk. It's already the HOT haircut.
Yes.
Like the slightly too long.
And his like sideburns are it's like
pointy,
parted right in the middle.
And a little bit chunky. And has those chunky highlights. They're just not as stark of a like black and white, but they're just on the edge.
Yeah, they're like trendy ash gray, but if they were peroxide yellow, then he would look like HOT.
And the trendy ash gray is not a good look. Like, has that right now too in TVXQ, and it doesn't look good.
Yeah,
like,
that's why we brought it up, because I said like Yuno's highlights.
Yeah, we were watching the Truth music video this morning.
Are in like, I'm afraid of Yuno's highlights. I'm like, those are a step
too close.
Almost too close.
They're just too close to the chunky 90s highlights.
Yeah.
And I brought up that Yuto, especially a naughty boy, he already has a tendency for chunky 90s jewelry and those big ass Jinko jeans.
The really big earrings and the really big jeans.
He is going to be the one to usher that bullshit back in here. And I am not appreciative.
I know. I'm disappointed.
I don't want Yuto to be the harbinger of doom. The harbinger of doom in this apocalypse that we find ourselves in. But I am afraid that he will be the horseman on his Jinko jeans.
I know. It's really scary. So we'll have to see what.
Yeah, we'll hold our breath and wait. Fuck.
Well, let's wrap it up for this week. Do you have a recommendation, or shall I go first, or are you still thinking about it?
Yeah, I don't know. You go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm going to recommend something that I feel like I wish that I had seen it before our end of the 2018 episode, because it came out towards the end of the year and I feel like I just missed it.
Okay.
But this is a song by iZone. I think that's how they're saying it. Maybe it's like IZ1. I don't know. I think it's iZone. This is the newest produce group.
Maybe it's Is1.
Oh my God, maybe it is
because
one.
They all have one in the title.
Yeah.
Produce 101, IOI,
yeah.
101.
You're right. Anyway, point is it's IZ*ONE if you need to look it up. This is the newest girl group from the Produce series. These girls were from Produce 48, which was a collaboration with the Japanese idol factory that is AKB 48. I think that's what it's called. Anyway, they have a single out. It's called La Vie en Rose, and it has the coolest fucking choreography I've ever seen. So you have to watch the dance video. It's like the most exquisite use of so many members I've ever seen. Like it's 17 levels of like intricate choreography. And the song is just great.
Totally.
And the vocals are really, really good. Like these, like we've said before, these Produce groups make me nervous. I think it's like a bummer to be in temporary groups because it like fucks with fandoms and it's like scary for people's careers. But what is great about them is like they're the best people. Like that's how they got put in this group, is for being like extremely good.
Yeah,
so you get quality talented.
Shit. Yeah, and I think we were talking about this as you showed this to me earlier. How like this is the kind of dance that's really fun to watch in the way that 17s are fun to watch, because you can sort of relax your eyes and like watch all of it as a whole, and you get to enjoy the entire movement and choreography, and it looks almost like an optical illusion in certain ways.
Right.
The way that the formations change and that people just like appear out of nowhere. And this particular group does a lot of cool asymmetry in their formations, which I found interesting and unique. Like I was really blown away when you showed me this video. I liked it a lot.
Yeah. So check that out. That's my rec for today.
My recommendation for today is also something that came out recently. Chungha just came out with a new song. It's called Get Going, right?
Gotta Go. And it's, but if you like, on a Spotify and on iTunes, the song is called like Midnight or almost, it seems to have multiple titles, but.
Okay, well, on YouTube, it's called Gotta Go. And the music video is cool, but I recommend watching a performance, like a music bank or like countdown music show performance, because the choreography is so cool. It's sexy. It's like very boa, very sunmi. There's a lot of like Gashina vibes in it. And Chungha is just like fucking killing it. This song is sexy and it's catchy and the dance is so cool.
Yes. Great. That's a really good recommendation. All right. So that is that. Next week, it's our podcast birthday.
Yay!
We've been doing this thing for a year. So next week, we're just going to reminisce, play some clips, read some notes from you guys, and it should be a good time. So come on back for that.
Yeah.
And we will, if you would like to contact us at AMA K-Pop Pod on Twitter and Instagram, amakpoppod.tumblr.com for links, amakpoppod@gmail.com if you want to send us an email. And we are also on YouTube. Ask Me About K-Pop, the podcast. All right, that's it. See y'all next week. Bye.
Bye.
Jonghyun, you're our inspiration.